Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates and rumours. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a voice message or emailing us at the links in the show notes.
Hello agents, I hope you enjoyed that new intro. As I've mentioned in previous episodes, Spotify is making some changes. That's what I use to do the podcast at the moment. So I'll slowly replace various jingles and bits and make things a bit easier on myself, to be fair, so I don't have to say the same message over and over again. But in this week's episode, which is episode 33, we're looking at the Chicago Anomaly, which is currently ongoing, and going over the integrity checks which start on the 27th of May, and also some details about what's coming up in June and some issues that seem to be happening with the portal sync to the map. So first of all, I'll move in to cover the Chicago Anomaly and we'll go from there. The Chicago Buried Memories Anomaly is recently concluded, and Niantic have shared the scores for that. So for the Beacon battle, the raw score was 607 to Enlightened, 230 to Resistance, being the final score there of 67.4 to Enlightened, 25.6 to Resistance. From the Shard battle, the raw score was Enlightened 12, Resistance 3. The final score in the Shard battle then being 74.4 points to Enlightened, 18.6 points to Resistance. The Go Rook Stealth Ops was won by Resistance at 4 points, Enlightened got 3 points. The Go Rook Urban Ops was won by Enlightened at 4.2 points to Resistance 2.8 points. That means the total scores for the Chicago Buried Memories Anomaly are 149 points to Enlighten and 51 points to Resistance. So well done to Enlighten, they capture the Buried Memories Anomaly in Chicago. That means the overall series score, which was quite close, is now a bit more one-sided. So Enlightened are currently in the lead and 476 points versus Resistance's 378.6 points. However, there are still two more Buried Memories Anomalies next month, as mentioned, so it all could change. But at the moment, that's the scores with Enlightened leading the way on there after the very close call last time, where I think there was 1 point separating the factions. But that's the scores. I'll include the link to read those in more detail on the Ingress website. But again, congratulations to Enlightened, and best of luck to all factions in the next few anomalies. Moving to our news now, as we mentioned a few episodes back, Ingress have introduced a Google Play integrity check. So this means that agents with phones that don't pass this check will no longer be able to play Ingress. They've updated it for a message that agents are now seeing when they play that says, you recently signed into Ingress with an Android device that does not meet our upcoming Google Play integrity requirements. This, again, as I mentioned a few times, is only on Android. However, if you use an Android device and an iOS device, you might see it pop up on your iOS device next time you log in if you've played an Android device that doesn't meet those requirements. The Ingress team explained there's 3 levels of Google Play integrity checks, being basic integrity, device integrity, and strong integrity. Currently, Ingress requires your device to pass basic integrity and device integrity checks to log in. As soon as the 27th of May 2024, strong integrity will also be mandatory. So that's the Monday after this podcast goes out. So you may start to see this now. And they also list that they think it will affect a small number of accounts. I think there's a small number of accounts have been quite vocal about it. And they regret any inconvenience it may cause legitimate players. We believe a significant number of the affected accounts are bad actors, and this change is necessary to improve the overall health and fairness of Ingress for everyone. They list here some common reasons why your device might fail Google Play integrity checks. So if you have a rooted or jailbroken device, that grants unrestricted access to the device's core system files, which can then be exploited for cheating. an unlocked bootloader, which allows modifying the device's operating system, which can violate Google Play security measures, and it's against Niantic's terms of service. A custom ROM, which is an unofficial operating system that can bypass security features, again that's against Niantic's terms of service. Downloading Ingress from unofficial sources, so things from outside the Google Play Store or Samsung Store, which I think you can also get, or using a device not certified by Google, so some devices just might not meet Google security standards, and older versions of Play Store Android security updates, so always check you're using the latest Android updates that are available on your device. So they note that in order to play Ingress, make sure your Android device runs the official version of Ingress download from the Google Play Store, operates on a stock unmodified operating system with a locked bootloader, has not been rooted or jailbroken, and is certified by Google. And there is a link that you can follow to see if your device meets the play integrity requirements. If you're still unsure, you can contact your device manufacturer and see that. So hopefully this just affects, as they mentioned, a small number of agents, but I think some Android agents feeling a bit of a ding after having this come up following not being able to scan on some Android devices. Fortunately, I can't quantify the problems for that because I'm mainly on iOS for most of my devices. I've used Android a little bit in the past, but not a lot. But if this is affecting you, then I'd encourage you to send a message to the Ingress team. Unfortunately, you can't do that on the forums now, but you can post on Reddit. I've seen that Brian and Thea are responding to some posts there, so you can tag them on their names if you know that. If you've not used Reddit a lot, you can tag someone in a post, however they will get notified of it if they have notifications on. So what you're best to do is make a post and then tag them in the comment, and they'll see that come up in their notifications if they have that setting on. So that about covers the Google Play integrity. So I move on now to our next bit of news. Another bit of news here that's not yet been officially confirmed, but seeing many agents mentioning this, is that the portal sync on the map seems to be off at the moment. We have seen this in the past when there's been XM anomalies. It goes off for the Friday before until the Monday. However, it seems to be happening in other Niantic games as well. Some agents that play Pokemon Go have mentioned it's not syncing there. They do have a big event coming up on the 30th of May until the 2nd of June. So it may take some time before that goes on and new portals start syncing to the map that have been accepted. But it may also be a bug. I don't know at the moment. It's been flagged to the relevant teams, but obviously if it's the Ingress team or Pokemon Go teams that need to fix it, they'll take time and hopefully we'll let everyone know if it's intentional or not. But don't worry if your portals don't show up on the map right away. I'd say it's off at the moment as far as we know. We don't know when it will be back on. Normally I'd segment off any Wayfarer related stuff into a different section of news, but as there's not been a lot of news this time around, I'm going to cover the Wayfarer challenge here. So the Wayfarer challenge is now ended, and I'm going to run through some stats that are on here. So there were 33,477 participants, 101,487 resolutions, so way spots or nominations or edits reaching a decision. The community reached tier 3 of rewards, and there'll be various amounts of people getting those rewards. And the top 10 are Trollfarer, 12,596 reviews, Kunasu, 12,150 reviews, Sub-Zero M37, 5,091 reviews. There was a tie at number 4 was Rising Volt 1245 and Mega Trainer Red at 5,000 each. Mino 0916 came in 5th at 4,940 reviewed. The Carnage Rules was at 4,841. J Passio 7 was 7th, fittingly, at 4,660. Night Forever was 4,444, gaming 8th place, and then 9th/10th place was 4SQA at 4,368. And just a reminder, challenge rewards aren't being distributed yet. They are being sent out in this time frame. So your OPR Live badge tick, if you did at least 500 reviews, will be with you by latest June the 5th, and then you'll get an email with codes on telling you where you place in the challenge as last time, and then you can enter those in on the Intel Ingress map and get your rewards from there. So that'll be nice when those come in. And I think overall the challenge was a bit bumpy, but it got the job done. And I will cover over on the Wayfarer Challenge in a bit more detail in another episode. That probably won't come in May, just to my own personal time constraints, but at some point there'll be an episode where I go through Wayfarer in general, cover the Wayfarer Challenge, what I think the next Wayfarer Challenge might be, things like that. But I'm quite happy with how it went. I'm looking forward to getting my second OPR Live badge tick. I did about 584, so not as many as the people on this list, but still enough to qualify for that and get those rewards. So, as I say, don't panic if you don't get the rewards yet. I've not heard of anyone receiving them as yet. I guess I'll go out in batches and they'll slowly roll out to everyone. But if you've not heard by the 5th of June, then would be the point to go on the Wayfarer forums and say something on there. As this is our last podcast of May, I want to go ahead and look at the events coming up in June. These were shared previously in the Buried Memories 2024 Q2 events calendar by the Ingress team, and it's something I know I always miss, so I want to mention it here. So the 1st of June coming up is First Saturday. You can register for that through Fev Games and see if there's anything happening in your area or one that you can get to. There are still a handful of online events, however you won't earn the First Saturday medal badge tick for participating in those. Those are just a fun thing to do if you want to, but if you do want to earn the medal tick, you would need to go on the Fev Games website and find an event that you can attend in person. On the 8th of June, we've got the Buried Memory Shard Skirmish. This is at the 25 AMER locations. Those locations haven't yet been revealed. They're generally revealed about 10 days before the Shard Skirmish, so we should see that relatively towards the end of May, so I might cover that on the next show. And the 9th of June is the second Sunday in June, so it's Ingress Second Sunday. For June, that's from 12 AM to 11:59 PM local time, and it's still completing any 6 unique Ingress missions to increase your second Sunday medal by 1 count. This hasn't changed yet. It may change in Q3, but also that's something I've been saying for a little while, so it may not change. We'll have to wait and see, and then the Q3 details come out later in June, presumably. Then the 15th of June is the XM Anomaly for Buried Memories, and you can earn the Anomaly Medal by joining the battle at either Kuching or Budapest. And then that kind of ends June there for events, so we end a bit early for this month. One thing that's not mentioned on here, which usually does happen, is we get the Pride coloured XM on the ground. It's one of the few times when the XM changes colour. The other one usually being Halloween when we get orange. So I'm happy to see that coming up. I'd be happier if I could buy custom XM colours and have whatever colours I want at any time of year. Red and white for Christmas or red and green for Christmas, that kind of thing. But unfortunately it's harder to do than just slapping in an avatar, I've been told. But still something I'd like. But that's basically what we've got coming up in June. And then, as I said, towards the end of June, we'll start to get announcements about the Q3 events. We have been told about some Q3 anomalies that are coming up. So we've got the 17th of August in Singapore and Rotterdam, and the 21st of September in Hackaday and Seattle. I probably said Hackaday very wrong there. Apologies if I did. But that's it for June and what we might have coming up in Q3. For this week's feature, going back to basics with the medals. So one that I want to cover this week is the Mind Controller medal, purely because I'm currently 9 control fields away from getting it to the next level of platinum for myself. So it's one that I've been tracking and didn't realise I was so close to. So this medal is awarded for creating control fields, and in Ingress you do that by linking 3 portals together to make a field, so that you cover and generate MU for your team, and this is used in cell scores and various other scores as well. So it's a nice badge to get and handy to have and claim more MU for your faction and convert more mines for the lore purposes. So it starts off at a bronze level of creating 100 control fields, silver is 500 fields, gold is 2000 control fields, Platinum is 10,000 control fields, which is the one I mentioned I'm near, and Onyx is 40,000 control fields. That might take me a while longer. It was introduced on the 12th of September 2013, so for some agents they've been at that badge for more than 10 years now nearly. So it's one of the main badges that I think people tend to go for, and it just naturally happens as you're blowing stuff up, making links and trying to control all the mines out there and convert them to either the enlightened or resistance. Obviously Machina doesn't currently make control fields, so it's not claiming any mined units on there, so unlike a few other badges, it's not one that will see them earn. But as I say, I think it's a nice little badge, and I'll probably have it at Platinum by tomorrow maybe, or Monday if I'm particularly lazy, so I'll go out from there. Okay, I think that's about all that I've got to cover in this feature, so I'll move on now and get everything wrapped up. Thanks again, agents, for listening to episode 33 of the Ingress Insights podcast. I guess I don't need to remind you now to check out all the show link notes, because the voiceover guy at the start did that. But if you didn't hear that for whatever reason, do go and check out those and find us on ingress.insights on Instagram and Threads. And then next time the show will sound a little different, because I'll be making some of the jingles and sound tunes as I mentioned, as Spotify makes changes there. So there'll be no Celestial Navigation or PXL Cray or Grey Joe tunes that go into this normally. So I'll slowly replace all of those with different music that I can use and lay into the show, but it may be a bit up and down. I may experiment with a few things with the podcast until then. But next time we're going over any news that's happened, a few things that we're kind of waiting on for Ingress, and presumably another app update that will have happened by then. That's all from me for this week. Hope you have a great Sunday and happy hacking, agents.